I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahama land to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant. Grateful to be in your company. Always grateful to jam with you. It is a beautiful day, a lovely day in the land of the living. Wherever you are, I want to be able to say good afternoon out there in Grand Bahama. Hope you guys are good, man. Jamming and making some things happen out there. And guys, make sure you check me out. I am on Facebook, YouTube. You can be able to see me on Facebook and YouTube as you continue to be able to do this with you right here in the land of the living. It's Wednesday, April 15th, and we are jamming. Grateful to be in your company. Always grateful to be here with you as we're talking about national events for growth and development. We're talking about a path for purpose, a path to get to where God has called us to be. In this kind of a season, election is 27 days away. And I hope you know who you're voting for, right? I hope you know who you're voting for. I know a lot of persons are kind of indifferent with this sort of an idea, and they're still kind of wrestling with what they should do. I mean, I don't know how you wrestle in the last minute like this. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to fight you. But I don't know how we could come all this way. We've come this far. Come and talk to me. We have come all this way for you to not know. No, baby, we got to know. Right? We are ready to inspire the land. We know what the intentions are. We know what's going on. It's time for us to be able to make this thing happen. Guys, if you want to be a part of the show today, I'd love you to be able to give me a call, 827-0111, 827-0111. You can hit me up. You can text me. You can call me if you'd like. And you'll be live on the show today. So we can be able to hear you wherever you are. Make sure you tune in 103.7 FM in Grand Bahama, 103.7 FM, which is Dove Radio in Grand Bahama. We are jamming with you. Now, I have been getting some calls some perspectives, some ideas, and persons are saying to me, Howard, it's time for us to be able to do this evaluation. It's time for us to be able to dive into this sort of a concept, exactly where we stand from a political standpoint. Now, what we've done, we've been dissecting these, from one constituency to another. We've been dissecting over the course of time what our expectations can be or would be in these various constituencies, right? And so we talked about it. We talked about these sort of ideas. Guys, make sure you can see me. Make sure you can hear me. On YouTube, guys, you can find me, Foundation 242, Foundation 242 on YouTube. We are live. So you can be able to see us live on YouTube and live at 103.7 FM. Had a conversation. You may be hearing me expand the thing. I got to wait. You understand? Sometimes you jump the gun and say some things a little too early. But I got to wait to see if you can be able to hear me again in other places. This is sort of a makeshift syndication. This is a makeshift syndication. Yeah, I got to do it myself. But nonetheless, I think it's important for us to be able to reach all those markets in those particular spaces. If you want to be a part of what we're doing and you want to be able to sponsor, you want to be able to find partnerships, you want to be able to tap into what we're doing, we invite you to do so, man. You can give us a call, 827-0111. I can be able to hit you up with everything that we are doing. Everything that we are doing, so you could be able to see exactly where we are without this sort of this concern about, well, y'all is, no. Yeah, we got everything professional on this side. So just hit me up. We can be able to take it from there. All right. Looking at your text, 827-0111, 827-0111. Howard, make sure you secure a spot for the opening of Parliament. We can go live for Parliament. Now, I could say that with all assurity because I could bring my camera and my Starlink, baby. We could go live from Parliament. We could do that, right? Yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to do that. I don't know whether or not they can go in Bahama this year. I don't think so. So if they go in the traditional space, I could be able to discuss with them and get a space for that, for the opening of Parliament. We're going to make it very professional, very nice, and do Foundation Radio from there. That'll be excellent, right? And 103.7 Dove, you guys might have to go with me, and we might have to commandeer a little bit more time earlier if we can be able to make something like that happen. It may be a possibility. We'll find out exactly what's what. We don't want to leave it out, and there's kind of a possibility being able to do that. Hold on, let me see. I think I got somebody here at the door. Come inside. Hold on, guys. Is this people? I know where they are. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I don't know where they are. Hit me up, 827-0111, 827-0111. Oh, Lord, these people bring gas by my house. I ain't home. We're talking now. Listen. Make sure you pick up the papers. If you're out there in Freeport, where you get your papers is Bellevue. I think Bellevue sells, Municipal Motors actually sells newspapers also. How do I know? My father distributes the papers. If you're looking for the papers to be delivered to you in Grand Bahama, wherever you are, Howard Grant, my father, delivers those papers. You know, he's been working to Freeport News for some time. And so if you want a paper, he has that kind of distribution for all the newspapers, and he can be able to assist you with that. Just give him a call or give me a call. I'll send him your number, and he'd be more than happy to take care of you. But make sure that you get your paper. Make sure that you get your paper in hand before we jam. When we start jamming and talking about these things, you want to be in the space that you know where we are and what you're talking about. In the papers today, stray bullet kills innocent grandmom. You can be able to see this, talk about that. Tamika Nottage Chime, or Chim. She is a grandmother. She look very young in this picture. 48-year-old grandmother. Okay. Overcome with grief, the mother, Kristen Nottage, said Christine Nottage, she said that the moment before the shooting, her 48-year-old daughter came into her bedroom to spend time with her. As the family often gathered there to talk and to laugh. Both women were sitting in the bed with Miss Nottage at the head and her daughter, a devoted wife and mother of 6, at the other side. And then the shooting began. Miss Nottage said that she screamed for her 2 grandchildren to get on the ground when the gunfire stopped. This is in the papers, guys. This is in the Tribune. She said when the gunfire stopped, she released her daughter. She realized, that her daughter had not moved and her grandchild was holding, and they had splattered blood all over them. This is too much, man. This is overwhelming. I was in the store this morning buying the paper, being able to come here and actually have a conversation with you and recognize that some people, this fellow said he's from Meguana. You see, that's why getting back to Meguana, man. I thought he was talking about the prices. So I say, you going to move back to Meguana because of the prices in the store? You say, no, ain't no prices. You say, the shootings, man, the shootings. I said, oh, I didn't realize that you was talking about the shooting. I was getting people business sometime. I said, I didn't realize you was talking about the shooting. If it's the shooting, then just stay out of people's way. But Ms. Nottage wasn't in nobody's way. And she found herself and her daughter's dad, 48 years old, being able to do that, mother of 6, a wife. And this is a devastating thing. This is a devastating thing. You know, I often think about death in such a manner because I'll never forget in 8 Mile Rock, I had a classmate that she just, one morning, very quiet morning in 8 Mile Rock, my grandmother and I were sitting down, and we in Hannah Hill. If you don't know, if you may know 8 Mile Rock, you may not. We in Hannah Hill, okay? Right in the back of Tripoli, all that property is our property right there, right? So Grammy and I, we sitting down there, and as we sit down there, we are in this kind of a position where we're sitting down right there. Very quiet morning. Grammy just finished watching I think it was The Price is Right. And we're sitting down there talking, and it felt like an eerie something in the air. It was a still morning. It was, you know, 8 Mile Rock people, we ain't got the door closed. We got the front door and the back door open. We sitting in the house. And so the breeze, she said, let the breeze slide through. We sitting down there. I said, I enjoy spending time with my grandmother, always did. So I sit down there talking to Grammy, and just like an eeriness came over, and this kind of a wailing happened out of the corner over the 2 corners away from Susie Corner. Y'all just call it Susie Corner. This Grant's property. I don't know how Susie come and there this, but anyway, praise God. I'm not gonna fight you. She got the most activity, I suppose, going over there. So 1 corner away from Susie Corner, right? If you remember the tailor used to live right there, right? So 1 corner away from there, where they used to sell shoes right down the corner in the back there. Just wailing. Wait. You know how they scream. And so we're trying to figure out what happened. Man, I said, Grandma, come right back. I jump in the car. I drive down there and meet my classmate on the ground, gone. Somebody slit her throat from ear to ear. And I know you don't want to hear things like this. I know it's kind of gruesome and graphic for me to be able to say it in such a manner, but this is what happened. And I looked over, and she was about to take something out of the freezer. I think she was getting something out of the freezer to thaw out for dinner. You hear me? She was getting something out of the freezer to thaw out for dinner. A dinner that she won't have. And this is her last moments on earth. Death is a peculiar thing. And this preparation that we continue to be able to talk about, or this sort of an idea and rejection of it, is just a peculiar thing. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. That's all this is. You just got to be prepared. And a very clear way, you got to be prepared because no man knoweth the time. No man. I'm very sorry for misknowledge. I'm very sorry for the crime that continues to be able to escalate in this country and around the world. But I don't know whether or not that should cause any of us to stop living. My grandmother said that to me one time. She's always precautious with this sort of a concept. Always precautious. We used to go to fish fry when we was young, looking for gals. Talk to me just to be decent. I just want to be decent with you. I'm not going to lie to you. We used to go to fish fry right down there in 8 Mile Rock Sunset, but before that it was Phil's on the other side. And being young and inquisitive and this kind of a desire to be able to get into some things and so forth and so on, you put yourself in this position. And I said, grab me again down the road to fish fry. She said, baby, watch yourself while you're going down there. You never know, something could happen. Right? So I said, Grammy, something could happen to my job. I said, Grammy, something could happen while I walk outside. I said, when I'm on the plane, something could happen. I mean, should I stop living because something can happen? I just got to live prepared. I'm going to be okay. I say that, and I remember clearly and vividly, so a time came when there was a murder in fish fry, and I observed. Well, I can't tell you. I see the whole thing, but I knew what happened. I was right there in fish fry. Life has a peculiar way of rattling you out of the comforts of debauchery, rattling you out of this kind of a space where you feel content. And if you're not rattled, if you don't recognize that it's time for you to be able to step into sobriety and recognize that your life has meaning beyond this, then that's a strong thing, man. We got to be able to talk to you about that. You got to be able to get yourself prepared, man. You got to prepare yourself for the next step. I pray for Tamika in her particular capacity. And I pray that the souls of the faithful through the mercy of God, they rest in peace and rise in glory. It's a great day, great opportunity, great time to be able to be here with you today. I have a guest that's going to be coming in with me. We're starting to talk some politics today, so I got one of my good friends that's going to be coming in. Let me get him situated. Let's take this first commercial break. Maurice, let's take this break. We're going to be right back after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant, jamming with you on this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Wednesday afternoon, one day away from nomination day, as we continue to be able to look at these things and how things are happening out there. In the studio with me, joining me, is a very good friend and an old friend of mine. We've been here for a long time. When I came to Nassau, really being able to find myself in this kind of a position where we can identify where we're having these conversations. A lot of the older fellas, I tell you that in the gates of the city, a lot of the older fellas found themselves congregating in the fish fry. And so I would have gone down to fish fry, but he and I worked together before that over at it was the Sheridan, then it became the Malia, and we were in that particular capacity being able to do that. So he is here with me today. Always grateful that he's here with me. My very good friend, James McKenzie. And my brother, say good afternoon to the people. Say good afternoon out there.
Good afternoon, Bahamas.
Let
How
me
you
see.
doing today?
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. How you doing today?
I guess got to cut off the microphone and make sure you're good.
No problem.
Listen, man, let's talk about some politics and some things that are happening around the country and whatnot. You have been an avid person who supports your political organization, or really promotion for growth and development in the constituency, more specifically of Fort Charlotte. Tell me about Fort Charlotte.
Oh, Fort Charlotte is an area I was born and raised true. The corner where some work is being done, Pitt Road. Everybody know at the corner, the shortcut they would take from Kentucky to get the Boyd Road to head to their destination. Being born and raised through Pitt Road, and now see what Pitt Road is being turned into, it's something to get excited about.
Did I see two new like homes, like the trailer homes?
Yes.
In that area?
Yes.
Okay.
But those trailer homes are just temporary housing for the persons who are having their house built. So houses are being built in the back, but those two trailer homes are just there to house
I can
those
tell you,
persons who live there.
It looked like it coming up, and talk to me about it.
Let me tell you something.
I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I think passing through. I don't live there.
Pitt Road is an area, mind you, it's a community-based area, meaning family, friends. If you go through there, you'll see we have the Browns, the Deans, the Baines. Those are the persons who occupy the Thurstons. Those are the persons who occupy the Pitt Road, the Moss, and all of them are family in some way, if not related through first cousins, second cousins, but it's a family area.
That's excellent, man. And so, talk to me about this. You always, every time you and I talk, you always talk to me about your affection, your love for the area of Fort Charlotte, your commitment, whether in Junkanoo or otherwise, being able to see the community grow. You have given back to the community significantly, hiring people, giving them opportunities, helping them however you can. Talk to me about what you're seeing now with the representation of not just Alfred Sayers, but now you can be able to see Sabas really being able to grab that. And then we're seeing Travis Robertson take on this kind of position to say that Fort Charlotte is not for sale. Talk to me about it.
Right now, it's great to be a member of the Fort Charlotte constituency because you see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Coming into this election, I did not know where or who I was going to vote for. And that's slowly changing because, I see some things that are being happening. My question at that time was, can I afford 5 more years of Brave Davis? Now that question has changed, and to me it's now, can I not afford another 5 years of Sabaz? That's all I'm saying.
You're getting too deep with me. Talk to me about it.
I said it to say this because in a few months Sabaz has been nominated. Now, mind you, I'm not saying this to say I'm singing for my supper because I've never met Sabaz. I've never been on the campaign trail, but I'm a resident of the Fort Charlotte constituency. And for some reason, in the last 2 elections, I was there, but I wasn't excited as I am now because I see houses being built. I see houses being painted. I see yards being cleaned. I see roofs being fixed. I've seen persons can reach who they need to reach and have a conversation. I see roads being fixed. I see organization between different ministries, meaning Ministry of Works, Ministry of Roads and Parks. I see BPL. I see Water and Sewage. These persons coming together who are from the community, coming together to try make the community better. The organization of what's going on right now because of Sabas, it's awesome. Keep in mind, this is just what I see going on. I see roads that has been one way or should have been a one way because of the size of the roads now being opened up, and they're now able for persons to pass
Ladies
through.
and gentlemen, if you, because Grand Muhammad listening,
Yes.
and listen, I want y'all to get an opportunity. I want to hear from all my Isaac's people. I want to hear from Ginger Moxie people. I want to hear from Kingsley, so forth and so on. But we talk in Nassau because we're here in Nassau also. Now, you may not know this, but I travail the city. You see how I can tell them? I say, what about them? I see some trailers here. I said, this is what I just do. When I move around the city, I just take note of what's happening around the city. I've done that from forever. You understand? And so I know exactly what he's saying. There's a road, is that Infant View?
Infant View Road.
Is Infant View Road. Infant View Road, when you come off Infant View Road, if you're riding through Fort Charles, you come off Providence, you take a right, you're on Infant View Road, you're going down Infant View Road. There was a cascading cliff in the road. Talk to me. This was a hill in the road. For you to get past, you had to stop the car, let somebody else pass, then you get past, right? The other day, I just drive it. I said, let me drive because my studio is about 2 roads away. So I said, let me just drive. As I pass in there, I said, oh, Jesus. I said, Sebastian Blake. This thing was here forever. You hear me? This little piece of hill was in the road forever. It is gone. The road is expanded. People don't even know what to do. As they pass each other, we looking at each other's cars like, what's going on? We looking at each other. This is amazing. Is it all, can we attribute all of this to Sebastian? Talk to me.
I'm going to let you be the judge of that, but I can say that this road has been there from I was born. This
It was like that all the time?
I am...
Almost 50.
Yeah.
Be decent.
And this road has been like that from I was able to go or drive Infant View Road. This road has been like that. And
I mean, MP after MP.
yeah.
Representative after representative. That means government after government. No one ever tried to fix this sort of a concept. Everyone just dealt with it. This is just what it is. This is just a part of life.
Yeah.
And just like that, when no one ever asks for this, you recognize that small things like this makes a significant difference in the lives of those people that live in the community. I couldn't even know to ask for something like this in the event that I was in the constituency. I might have asked, hey, listen, can you fix my fence? Can you clear that piece of property down the side of me? There's rats coming through that. You ride through Fort Charlotte, there's green spaces going up. Listen, I was impressed thoroughly. Mm-hmm. You've been riding through the whole constituency?
No, I haven't. And I have to because I want to say what I've seen. I pass through Rock Crusher sometimes frequently, and I looked at the park on Rock Crusher, and it's a different park. I mean, swings are fixed, everything. The park is a park now. The kids can come out and play, and it's not the same as what it was. I'm seeing some things that are being done. Again, that has me in awe. To say, well, where was our representation? Like you say, some things you didn't even know needed to be fixed. One phone call is being fixed. I'm seeing some houses that I didn't know exist in some corners.
I didn't even know some things was there.
I'm seeing some houses that I've never seen in my life.
It was there the whole time.
It was there the whole time.
You could never see it.
Because of the brush and the debris. And it's now gone, and you can see that these are people who live in this area. I'm been from the Pit Road area. That was Crown Land. I'm seeing people now being able to say, well, look, the government has taken a stance now, through Sabas, to say that these lands belong to the people and they're now getting deeds for their land. All my life, this was Crown land. Now people are getting deeds for their land. They can now apply for basic needs, bathroom, electricity by a lump hole that's been provided, and basic needs that you did not realize that these people are going through or didn't have. They're now able to get these things through the initiative of what's happening in Fort Charlotte.
Impressive. I got to be able to say that. And a lot of people, I want to have this kind of a conversation because I think Travis Robertson has taken on this kind of a position to highlight the fact that this is money. The Congregation of Bishops has taken on this kind of a position with the introduction of the Free National Movement to say that lottery for the Bahamas is not good, right? The Bahamas Christian Council has taken that position also with Bishop Fernanda. And so you would have seen Bishop Hancho and Bishop Fernanda being able to speak and take on a position with that. However, we don't see the significant pushback from the gaming referendum and the fact that we as a nation voted against the gaming referendum. The government overturned that particular concept, and now gaming is established in this country in this particular capacity. Shabazz and Craig Flowers and others are solidified with their licenses, and it seems like a contrast. It seems like a contradiction, rather, for the church to take on this kind of a position to fight against the introduction or the possibility, just a theory and a concept of what could happen from the Free National Movement, but not take on this kind of a position against Shabazz. There is sort of a quagmire. There is sort of an issue. Why you accept one and you have rejected the other? What is Fort Charlotte saying as it relates to these issues?
As far as gaming is concerned, the referendum was held. The people voted against the referendum. The government at that time thought it best to go against the people, and they made gaming legal. So now that's not neither here nor there. That's over with. The question now is, how do we move forward with now having this gaming license? Last time I checked, the F&M cannot take a stance on trying to cancel out gambling altogether because their leader, Michael Pintard, said he's going to do a lotto. He's going to do a national lotto.
Right.
So if he's going to do a national lotto, that means he's all for gaming.
Right.
So now you cannot attack the gaming industry if you're now promoting gaming industry.
I want to talk to you about that because Bahamian people are peculiar. You and I talked about this. Bahamian people are peculiar. We're the same people that say, child, I ain't want nothing to do with that. I ain't believe in no sweethearting and this and that and the next thing. But, on the side, you may have your little sweetheart, right? But that ain't nobody business.
Sweetheart
right?
ain't sweetheart if you don't get caught.
Right. So this is the kind of concept that people have, right? Let's have a very clear conversation. And then on top of that, when you look at this sort of an idea where the Bahamian people who would have rejected the numbers referendum based upon the church being able to take on this kind of position and say that this goes against God and the country and so forth and so on, these are the same people who put money in the numbers man pocket for years. They voted against it. And now they're the same people who patronize it. Now talk to me about this. I want to talk about this specifically. Fort Charlotte, for me, for Howard Grant, represents old Nassau. Now, when you ride through Fort Charlotte, ladies and gentlemen, you could still get a feel of what Nassau used to be. The community, the family, the proximity, the relationship. It's still clean-ish. It's much cleaner than other places, right? It still has that kind of a feel. I wanted to live in Fort Charlotte at one point, I can be honest with you, all right? Stapleton is sort of a new concept of New Nassau, but Fort Charlotte is a representation of what Nassau used to be. You could still see the architect and the homes and so forth and so on. It's great. It's a beautiful place. When I see this old Nassau, I believe that there is a conviction that still exists in this place to be able to keep those tenets, to keep those principles, to keep those elements of faith intact. And I say that to say, these are the same people who may have been gambling with you that vote against you. These are the same people who would have gone against what they felt was comfort to stand on conviction. Is Fort Charlotte one of the constituencies, based upon your history, based upon your relationship, based upon your know-how, that will keep the convictions of saying, no, we ain't want no number man, and reject the idea of being able to hold steadfast to Sabas and go with the proverbial David in the person of Travis Robinson? Do you believe that could possibly happen?
I believe that Fort Charlotte, it's not about gambling or Sabas. I believe Fort Charlotte is about more than just that. And as far as those persons who you may think reject gambling and still support Sabas, because if you see Sabas, he is the face of gambling at this time. And his company is the face of gambling. But at the same time, I had a coworker. I mean, a nice person, beautiful person, church-going deaconess in the church. But every night we come to work, she's spinning. So the same persons
But this is what I'm saying.
who say that
This
they
is what I'm
reject
saying.
gambling are the ones who are gambling. And I get every day I see, if on a Sunday morning, how many times you go
Before you go to church.
before you go to church, persons are now putting on their money on their account and they're in church spinning while they're in church.
In church.
You don't hear me? In church, spinning while they're in church.
But what I'm saying to you is that existed before Sabas got his license, before the government of the Bahamas gave these licenses in these particular areas and did all these things, before all of this happened. Let's be clear and being able to speak that, right?
Yes.
The truth is, if we're going to look at this, the truth is, these people was gambling long time when it was underground.
Long time.
However, if we look at this and make this kind of determination, are these people the same people who are going to vote for? Will they take on the same position and vote against this man? Because I don't see the church kind of raising up and saying, we don't want Sabas, we don't want this, we don't want that. I don't see the church doing that. I see the church very subtle, very quiet, but sometimes the quiet before the storm could be a problem. Yeah. Is Fort Charlotte, do you believe that they're leaning in one direction or another as it relates to that?
No. I don't believe the gambling is going to let them lean towards or against the PLP and Sabas. Because I remember growing up, I remember going to Charlie. There was an old man named Charlie, and I remember going to Pacha. I would have this list of letters to carry to Pacha or to carry to Charlie. And at the time, it was just 2 ball. All right. Now, that person who sent me, Mommy, I don't want to throw you under the bus.
No, Mommy.
No.
Because Grammy used to send me too.
So I remember.
Go Costa Cal, baby, and get that for me.
If you head on to Meadow Street, right there between Meadow Street and Finlayson, I think it's Finlayson Street, there was an old man that lived in the back there named Charlie. And if you go on Nassau Street where you see the Base Road bars, across the street there's a restaurant. There's the old man who used to sell numbers there named Pacha. And these are the persons I go to buy numbers for my mother.
Before the legalization of this thing entirely.
Before the legalization. Okay, so, I mean, I don't think Sabas invented numbers. Numbers was going on long before him.
Yeah.
All he did was put some organization to it.
Yeah.
And
technology.
That's it. And that woman is a strong PLP. So no matter what anyone says, she's going to vote PLP regardless. Mm-hmm. So she's a PLP. Mm-hmm. So gaming, and she doesn't gamble anymore. All right, thank God she doesn't gamble anymore, because that would cost me. But she doesn't gamble anymore. But what I'm saying is she loves her PLP. PLP is all she knows. She came up in Fort Charlotte at the time of Valentine Grimes. And they are so loyal to PLP and Valentine Grimes, because Valentine Grimes then were making sure his constituents were straight. Everybody had jobs. So they could credit Valentine Grimes at that time in Fort Charlotte for providing jobs for those persons in the area. And they're not leaving their PLP regardless of what anyone says.
Well, it's an amazing thing. We're going to talk about this, talk a little bit more about the politics of these matters and how things are happening, guys. I'd love you to join me. Hit me up, 827-0111. We're just talking politics in the country with a concentration on with the concentration on some. Peter texted me and said, when you having Pintad or Prime Minister Davis on the show, well, it ain't gonna be today, right? It ain't gonna be today, right? But we're just having a general conversation, and more specifically, just being able to focus on the constituency of Fort Charlotte. I am interested to see these things. There was a rally last night by the Free National Movement held, and the PLP give you all the specs of it. The PLP tell you it's a 4-acre lot, and they only occupy 0.25 acres of the lot. It was too much. It was too much. Listen, they put all the specs in the maths. They put sine, cosine, tangent to let you know this is only a small space area. This was too much. This political time is a crazy time in our country. And despite it all, we still don't know how people are going to choose as it relates to what's going to happen for them in the next dispensation. Let's take this quick break. When we get back, I can see somebody calling. Hold on, before we take a break. Maury Solon, somebody calling. Let me take a telephone call. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Grant.
Good
How
afternoon.
are you?
I'm fantastic. How you doing?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Shauna Taylor, Express Food Mart.
Hey, Shauna.
You did not plug me in to say your daddy is sell the papers.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shauna. Shauna, by Shauna them too, right?
I just had to get that one in there, but you continue doing the good job, my brother.
Okay, Shauna. I'll call you after, so I can get some more plugs.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Shauna. It's great to hear from you.
Same here.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So make sure you go down to Express Food Mart also. That ain't that means go there, but he's go there. Express Food Mart. And be able to make sure you pick up your newspapers and pick up everything like that. Guys, you can call me. That means that the whole of Grand Bahama can hear me. If you're in Freeport right now and you turn on to 103.7 FM right now, you could hear this conversation live. I am in Nassau, but Grand Bahama in my blood. And we're here to be able to have this kind of a conversation. I got to get back home, and I'm grateful to Dove 103 for being able to give me this kind of an opportunity to be able to make these things happen. And I want you to hit me up also if you want to be able to get these things, just like Shauna. And she hit me up from a 727. I know that was Grand Bahama. So I'm grateful that you guys are being able to listen in. I got a couple. I just had to do a pre-recording yesterday. And the pre-recording was a good show I had, but I thought I edited everything out with my son, Gabriel, keep walking into the camera, right? Somebody called me and said, how old Gabriel is? He was on the show. I said, Jesus, I thought I'd take him out the whole show. But I'm glad that I could get that kind of a feedback, at least to know that you guys are listening to me and listening in to what we're doing from Grand Bahama. Maurice, let's take this quick break, guys. We're going to take this quick commercial break. I'm going to be right back after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The Foundation with Howard Grant. Check me out, Foundation 242, all over the social media platforms. And 103.7 Dove in Grand Bahama. Grateful to be with you. Always grateful to jam on this beautiful day. It is a beautiful thing that you are here as we continue to be able to talk about these things. I am grateful for all those persons. If you want to be able to be a part of what we're doing, please jam me. Give me a call. 827-0111. 827-0111. And so you can be able to hear us as we continue to talk like this. Well, I'm here with a very good friend, James McKenzie, as he continues to be able to talk about these things. Original, if you know anything about Nassau and the lay of the land, his constituency has been Fort Charlotte, and even before Sabas, even before any of these particular persons would have been able to kind of rear their heads, when Mark Humes was in there, he had a relationship with that and was hoping that some things would happen. Before that, you would have been able to see him kind of move with that. When Alfred Sears was there, he was still there. He was active even before Mark Humes. So he's always been active in his community, active in these particular areas. So talk to me about it, my brother. Let me know what you see in these areas. And I don't think you have no affiliation with one political organization. You've always been looking at who is interested and really being able to work for the constituency itself. Talk to me.
Yeah. I've been a strong advocate of progress and whoever's trying to better the community, not better self. And like I said, what's getting me excited is that I'm seeing some of the things I would have talked about to Mr. Sayers being done now. I don't know if he would have had this conversation with Sabaz, or Sabaz is doing this initiative by himself. I talked to him several times about organization in the community, and I see it being done now. I see where we have organizations, again, like Ministry of Works, Roads and Parks, and those persons are members of the community coming together to say this is what needs to be done. I was taking a drive, and I was coming on Chippenham Road, and I gone onto Boyd Road. I saw a pothole right there on Chippenham Road leading into, I think it's Recovery Way Road, and one on Boyd Road in front of Shenandoah Bar. Those holes were there for 2 days. And the only reason why they were there for 2 days is because it was raining. So the persons who needed to get out to do the work had to patch it until the hole dried. Within 2 days, those holes were patched and they were fixed. I'm like, wow. I saw some lines down in a community. Those lines were fixed the following day. And this isn't something normal that you would see. You have to now call somebody, they have to organize somebody, and that somebody have to go tell somebody else. But in this administration or this party now, things are being done, and they're being done quickly. And I'm impressed by that. As I was coming here, I was on the road right there in front of Twin Brothers, and I saw some gentlemen there, signs that were down. They were now replacing those signs, moving the old signs, and putting up new signs. And I know people have a bad taste in their mouth, and they say, well, look, Sabaz is doing this to be elected. I've heard all the stories, Sabaz is cheap. Don't mind him. He only doing this to get elected. Once he get elected, you ain't gonna see him.
You know
no
Sabaz personally?
No, never met him.
You don't know him at all?
Never met him. Never met him.
Wow.
Never met him before in my life. Not even on the campaign trail, because anytime he come around, I'm never home because I'm always at work.
Yeah.
I've never met him. They say, well, Sabaz is cheap. Like, okay, if you have somebody, let's just say, he said this out of his own mouth. This is because I'm paying attention to what he says. I'm listening in and I'm just paying attention. He said out of his mouth, he represents 800 investors. But now he also represents those 6,000 plus persons from the Fort Charlotte. So if you represent 800 investors and they give you $100, are you going to waste that 100 or are you going to guide that $100? So you cannot be loose with people's money, because you represent not just you, but you represent the people you represent. Those persons you say, those 800 investors. And if 800 persons who are smart investors in the Bahamas put their trust in this man to bring them money, why shouldn't we put our trust in him? Why shouldn't we put our trust in him?
This man campaign, and you need to stop it.
Listen, I'm going to say this.
I ain't fighting you.
Somebody's going to say this to me, and they're going to say, Jim, you only saying that because you do numbers. I want to say this. I've been employed selling numbers for Iron Luck for almost 16 years now. Never met Sabaz. But I can tell you one thing. Iron Luck money is good. At the end of the month, I never call and ask where's my money, because the money is there.
They take care of you.
No, I sell for them and they give me a commission. They don't take care
as a
of me.
retailer.
I work for what I have. But what I am saying is,
James is a vendor on fish fry, guys. So he has a beautiful location down there at Fish Fry. You can be able to come down whenever you're in Nassau. It's Foxy's, right?
Yes.
Foxy's. You can be able to go to Foxy's and you can be able to see him whenever you're in Nassau. You can be able to pick up a nice little something refreshing or get something to eat. You still do the food there?
I do.
You still do food and everything like that. So I hadn't been there. I haven't been for a long time, but definitely you want to be able to come down. Fish Fry is under renovation. So when you come to the city of Nassau and you from Grand Bahama, you want to be able to do that. The western side of Fish Fry has been demolished with Goldie's and Eddie, right?
Yes.
Goldie's, Eddie's, and who else?
Gold Eddie's. They have one called Anchor or Anchor.
They get them too?
It was 6. I think it was 6 to 7 stalls.
And guess
Eddie,
what? The day they
Shooty.
burned down, guys, you could be able to go back on social media and see this. The day they burned down, who showed up? Sabaz.
And Brave Davis.
That's in Fort Charlotte constituency.
Fort Charlotte, yes.
That's in Fort Charlotte constituency.
Yeah.
So you could be able to see exactly what's what, and you could see those things. Right? Now they really tried to make this about money, and I don't know. I mean, I think it's a difficult thing, and I don't want to be able to view the Bahamian people as gravelicious and their desire just to be able to get a couple dollars. But it's important, especially if things have been sitting for a very long time, if someone coming to lend you a hand, that you take that hand, right?
No, it's not about lending a hand. Let's just remember when Fish Fry burned down. That was on a Sunday. Goldie was not in Nassau at the time.
No, he was traveling.
He was traveling, and he was not expected to be back until Tuesday. So Brave Davis and Sabaz went on and say, whatever we can do to help you guys open up as soon as possible, we will do that. And I guess when he heard that, he doesn't need the government to give him anything to open up.
No, Goldie ain't need that.
He doesn't need it. All right, but he just says, whatever the government wants to do, I would gladly accept it. If you offered somebody something, it'd be disrespectful not to take it. So that's all he was doing.
All people say you don't look a gift horse in the face.
On the face. So that's all he was doing. He's never asking the government for handout, because I heard some people go on social media talking about, y'all making this money, and y'all got to go to government and ask government for money. No one is asking the government for the money. He was all he needs is his permission to rebuild, and he's going to rebuild. But all he was doing was responding to what was said when he was not here. That's all he was doing. He never asked for a handout. He's just responding to what was said.
No, Goldie ain't like that. If you know Goldie Goldie can take care of what he has to take care of. You know Goldie. Right? So when you're in Nassau, you can come and check these places out and see exactly what's what. They got some great conch salad, great food, great places you can be able to do there. And you could really be able to, between fish fry and Porter's Key Dock, now it may be a little cringe. It may not be your vibe. And I know Grand Bohemians. Yeah. Oh my God, are we going in there? I know Grand Bohemians.
You guys will put mustard and conch salad?
Yeah, no. Mayonnaise, sir. Calm down.
Mayonnaise.
Mustard is too much. Mustard is too much. Okay? Mayonnaise. Right?
What's wrong with y'all, man?
No, just put the mayonnaise in the conch salad.
It should not be.
You just put mayonnaise in crab salad.
No, sir. Yeah, you do.
What you doing then? What are we talking about?
Not conch salad.
All right, I'm not going to fight you. So, when you're coming down here, you may feel like it's a little cringe and these may not necessarily be your scenes, but if you want to meet the Bahamas, this is what I did. I met people from every island, rock, and key in this nation in these spaces. When you go on under the Porter's Key Dock, when you go by the boat to get your conch, when you go by the boat to get your fish, when you go out there to all these particular spaces to be able to pick up your stuff, hey, listen, you meet some great people, just have a conversation. You would be surprised to know who you meet. And you'd find that the Bahamas is not as big as you think. And the crime is not as relevant or prevalent as you think. That's just, it would be very clear with you. There's some people that's doing some crime in the city of Nassau, and it's in a concentrate area. And like the police tell you, these people are, for the most part, known to the police. Yeah. They're known to the police. You understand? But there are some places that you can go around. One of the most hospitable places outside of Walker's Key I've ever been to is Nassau. You won't believe that. I meet this man in Nassau. I didn't know him from Grand Bahama. I meet him in Nassau. Look at him every time. Howard, what's up? Come, call me. Come hang out. You understand? Because we're talking about the national growth and development of the country, and we're concerned, despite the fact that I'm from 8 Mile Rock, despite the fact that he's from Fort Charlotte, despite the fact that all of us seem to be fragmented, we are under one umbrella that is the Bahamas. And we're concerned about how do we get our next step to the course of where our dreams exist. We have some dreams, we got some hopes, we got some desires, we got some things that we want to be able to make happen. But we cannot do that fragmented. We cannot do that separate. If no man is an island, we need someone at least to be able to pull our rope in and tie us to the mainland. Talk to me.
You're right, my brother.
You think Sabah's doing that? You think Sabah's tying you to the mainland?
This thing again, I tell you, I only can speak for Fort Charlotte. And, we have some issues in the Bahamas that needs to be addressed because we still have police officers who are still waiting on the government to do some things for them. We have nurses and doctors who are still waiting on the government to do what they were supposed to do. We have teachers who are still waiting on the government to do what they were supposed to do for them. And these things are very important to those persons. And that, to me, was a real issue in the beginning, like deciding where I was going to vote, not knowing what I was going to do. These things were on me, and I'm like, how is it that you can tell the teachers that they have to wait 3 months before they get their money, but you can organize in 1 week and take $2 million to Jamaica after the hurricane?
Wow.
Well, what's wrong?
Wow.
And what happens is you tell us as a people that we have to now live or not live beyond our means or decide what we're going to do. I'm trying to think of the right word that the minister said, the prime minister said, that we have to make sacrifices, meaning we have to pay this and not pay that. But it shows that these same persons who are telling us to make sacrifices are out of touch. Because how can you tell me make sacrifices, but yet you take a party of 10 or 20 to Dubai with our money? If we have to make sacrifices, shouldn't you also have to make sacrifices? And you're spending our money loosely. See, this is why I say I need somebody cheap who's going to represent Fort Charlotte. What they say about Sebastian's cheap?
That's what they say.
I need somebody cheap who's going to represent Fort Charlotte. Who's not going to waste my money. And that's what people are doing. And again, to me, before Sebastian came into Fort Charlotte, it was not if the PLP is going to get my vote. The question to me was, can I afford another 5 years of Brave Davis? And again, now my question is, can I not afford another 5 years of Sabaz and what he's doing in the community.
I want to read something as a text that came through. I don't know if it came through from Grand Bahama, but you guys can text me 827-0111. It says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Grant." It says Granta. Don't fight me. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Grant and guests. I don't hate what Sabas is doing, but Sabas can partnership with 7 other MPs to make sure that 8 grassroots constituencies get some of the treatment, like Fort Charlotte areas, like Centerville, St. Barnabas, Angliston, Fox Hill, Freetown, and 2 other constituencies. The PLP is going until the election to see if they won, and if they lose this constituency or this election, Sabas treatment would be implemented in 8 other grassroots constituencies before the 2031 elections. I guess they're going to surmise and say, how do we expand this? And this is what I want to say to this, and I can let you respond to this also. This is what I want to say to this. My father says this, and I sure take silent people to say it, all right? First rat in the hole, tail covered. You got to cover your tail before you start working on anything else. You may look at Sabas as a mountain of a man from a social standpoint. Everyone throughout the country knows him, or at least knows his name, and is recognized, or they can identify what he's done. But the truth of the matter is that you don't know how Fort Charlotte will respond to him. You just don't know. You're hoping for the best, and he's doing everything that he can. But the first rat in the hole, tail covered. The government of the Bahamas has created initiatives with the Urban Renewal Program, with the expansion of what the former administration would have been doing with the Over the Hill initiatives, and so forth and so on. What we're seeing expand in Angliston through the ministries and others, the government of the Bahamas is doing significantly well and being able to identify. And then this is what the PLP does. The PLP looks at those middle class, lower class, working class families, those persons who are below the poverty line, and create environments that they can be able to find themselves lifted up. So we are sure that this administration, and I'm sure we could be able to read the blueprint for progress to be able to find out more information. I ain't got one yet. I must have got to go to one PLB headquarters to get one. I got to get one, right? But we could read the blueprint for progress to be able to make a determination as to exactly what's going to happen. Let's talk about this now. I know that there is this sort of an idea of equality. I know that there is this idea for commonwealth and everyone being touched. But this influence that's happening in the constituency of Fort Charlotte may not necessarily be financial, but is relational. People know that if they do this favor for Sabas, if they do this for Sabas, if I do this, if I show up, it could possibly mean sustainability for my business. People respond well when they know that there is an opportunity for sustainability, growth, and development in these areas if I help now. And so this could be investments for some people. These things have to happen. When you look at various constituencies, it's the relationship of the member of parliament that causes things to happen. If you look at if you look at Fox Hill, Fred Mitchell could get people to do anything for him. I'll take care of you. Boom, boom, boom. You understand? Mm-hmm. Because that's a relationship that he's built with these people. They could trust him, and he trusts them. They could trust him. And this is the type of representative that you want, that who's relational, who people know that we could trust that this particular person, who wants to get into the good graces of these people. This is what you're looking for. In Grand Bahama, and Marco City more specifically, a lot of persons would start to talk with this kind of a language that says, hey, listen, we could depend on Michael Pintar to take care of us. We've depended on him. This is why we gave him more than one opportunity in a constituency that goes FNM, PLP, FNM. We retained him because he became dependable. This is what representation should do. Representation is not the introduction of a new concept and you saying, well, why that concept can't go over here? Why that concept can't? Listen, your representative need to think about this. I need to understand the importance of being able to do this. I'll say this to you, and then I'm going to let Jim say something. I can say this to you. I knew for the dream that I've had over the years, I didn't have the money to create it. I didn't have the money just to be able to see the dream come out of the ground. But if the word of God by principle said that a good name is greater desire than silver or gold. There's value in a good name. You know what I did over the years? I developed my name. If the Word of God says to you that you're going to be able to, your talents, your gifts will bring you before kings and great men and so forth and so on. I allowed my talents. I developed those particular things, and I went before great, and then I developed my good name. Now, when I make a call, hey, listen, I need this, and this. All right, Howard, that's no problem. Bam. It takes time. But you put yourself in the position that you can get these things done. And this is what I say when it comes to representation, because the truth is that there's a lot of people who seek to represent you in various constituencies in this country, the 41 constituencies, who ain't never do nothing. You don't know them. They ain't got no good name, not even in the community they from, and they won't represent me. I don't even know who you is, baby. Not in a bad way. That ain't saying that you ain't good for nothing. It's just that you didn't develop your name. This was a part of the whole package. When you hear a name like Sabas, okay, let's take a newcomer to politics.
Leslie Miller.
Let's take Leslie Miller.
Yes.
You didn't know her. Now she didn't been in. Hold on. Leslie Miller didn't been in. You didn't see her capability, and in Seabreeze. Let's take Owen Wells. He didn't do nothing yet.
No.
He brand new. But you know you could depend upon him. Why? Because he's developed his name in his profession. And you know him to be a good lawyer in his capacity. You know him to be astute in those particular areas. This is what we're looking for. This is the level of people that we're looking for and the caliber of people that we're looking for. We don't want you with your articulation and your ability to be able to persuade us with your words to give us this kind of a gimmick. Nobody wants that. We want to know that you just work. Wherever you start, you just work. Whether or not that was, you know where Clay Sweeten started? Yeah. Clay Sweeten started in local government. He started in local government.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
The fact of the matter is that wherever your profession, you work the ground where you is, and then watch yourself climb to where you want to be.
Yeah.
You just can't automatically, I could be an MP, I could be a good, okay. Trust me, I could run independent. 4 votes.
No money back.
4 votes. You spend $100 a vote. One, you might as well go give that $100 to them 4 people.
Yeah.
Huh? 4 votes. 6 votes, but 9 people in your house. 3 people in your house ain't vote for you. You need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. Develop your name. Develop what you do through. Listen to me. I did what I did in 8 Mile Rock, and I come to Nassau, and I say, I can do it. I can do it here in Nassau too. And I churn and I work and I work and I work and I work and I work. And people know, okay, yeah, how would I know you? How would I hear you be on the radio? And you develop this over the years. You build this camaraderie with your listening audience. You let them know your convictions. You start to talk about these things. You have a good conversation. That is why a lot of people in journalism and media find themselves in politics. You got to find your angle and you got to work that. Okay? Chester Cooper, he started off in business. You just go to his business, cash and go all the time. You just go to his BAF, I think that's the insurance thing, all the time. You know him. When you hit Branville McCartney, you knew that he was astute in these particular areas. There are people who have committed themselves before this. You knew that the prime minister now was working for years. He worked on his good name. Any MP you ask about him, FNM or PLP, you cut the cameras off, cut off all the microphones, you ask them about them. You know what they can say about him? Anything I ask Bray for, he's give me. Anytime I ask Bray for help, he's helped me. They've done that for Brave Davis for 30 years. 30 years, they have said this about Brave Davis. 30 years. One day out of 7, you're going to be able to get that reward that you've been fighting for. Go ahead, Jim.
No, I just want to say, I want to first respond to you in Central and Grand Bahama. I want to say I've been following the Central Grand Bahama and deal And you talk about names and person that's known the community, and this is why they were there long before they became ministers. I am following him through his son, because I've been following his son all through high school and all through his upbringing, because I know the family. So now, to look at Mario Deal, the son of Deal that's running in Central Grand Bahama, it shows me that he did a good job with his son. So by extension, it shows me that he's a good person, because the children of the future, and what he did and how I see his son was raised. And I heard him one day speaking. I think it was Junior Parliament or somewhere. I heard him talking. I'd be like, wow, look at little Mario, eh? I don't even know.
And that's how people is gauge. You think, man, listen to me. Listen to me.
Yeah.
I think my mommy, don't look here. Let's talk now. Let's be clear. My mommy's watch me every day. Don't now watch it now. There was this big rumbling going on at the F&M headquarters in Grand Bahama. And my uncle, he's passed now, Kem Stewart, was vying for the position as member of parliament or representative in 8 Mile for the Free National Movement. And they put my mother's name forward, right? And so Hubert Ingram and Carl Bethel came down. They were sitting down there. I sitting in the room because I didn't know what this process was. I sitting in the room. This was 2006. And everybody sitting down, well, I know him long time. And I know his daddy and it's just the kind of conversation they having, right? And he is good people. He come from good people and all these things like that, right? So I said, what the hell is going on in this room, right? So I said, what is going on in this room? So I stood up, I said, good evening. I just want to be able to say, as the seed of Vernie Grant, of a person that came from her, and I believe that she's this. And so I start to just kind of articulate this thing, why I think that she's good. Hubert Ingram says to me, okay, you did well? Sit down, you did. You did well? Sit down, right? And so they gone back at it. I try to stand up, he say, you did enough, sit down, you did enough, right? So I said, okay, all right, sit down, right? But when people see you, see your passion, your articulation as someone who come out this woman's house, who come from these people, who come, you know there got to be substance in these people also.
Yeah.
And that's how you could gauge them.
Yes.
People don't gauge you by you, they gauge you by your children.
Yes. Your job that you've done in your raising of these children.
You're supposed to be decent, your children always in jail.
Yes.
Hold on, something wrong with this.
No.
Something wrong with this. How your child get in jail?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, he must have slipped and fell in there. What? No, there's too much. We gauge you based upon your offsprings and what you do. This is why that kind of a manners and respect that we talk about, it starts at home. Yeah. And you're saying to me that this is what Paco Deal is showing you.
Yes, I mean,
Paco Deal from 8 Mile Rock. He from Holmes Rock.
Yeah.
Been to 8 Mile Rock High.
All right. Mind you,
He's a decent man.
I don't know Paco Deal.
I know you don't know him.
I know his son.
Yeah.
And by extension, who his son is shows me who he is. Mm-hmm. So in life, it's all about nature and nurture. 50% of what you are is because of your donation from that parent, and 50% is how you're raised by that parent. And the person I see this young man has become now. And I heard him speaking, and some things I don't pay attention to, but when I heard him speaking, I stopped and I had to listen until he was finished. Because I'm like, look what this young man become.
My God.
And if he views his father in that light, I see him in the same light.
Guess who will tell you that they taught him?
Who?
Frazette kept saying Frazette will tell you, your son was my student. I sit down with Frazette and Paco talking, his son was my student, Howard. Don't worry about him. It's gonna be, listen, that's gonna be a seat to watch, I might as well tell you. Because the excitement that I saw in Grand Bahama for that rally the other night, the excitement that I saw on the stage, and then people, Paco, and screaming and shouting and so forth and so on. It's a big deal. Paco was a big deal. Mm-hmm. It said to me that there is a momentum among the people. And one of the things that we have to remember, people, is that politics is not national. Politics is not international. Politics is local. Politics, listen, all of these things, it don't matter, none of these things. People are going to decide in the box who to vote for based upon a local representation. They're going to say whether or not Paco is good, whether or not Fraser is good. They, for the most part, in these places, are not overarching saying, okay, I'm voting for Brave or I'm voting for Michael Pintard. They're looking at the representative, especially if the representative is vocal, is articulate, is insightful, has vision, has determination to be able to see whether or not they can be able to make these things happen in those areas. So this is going to be one of the seats that is going to be something to watch.
Yeah. You know, you said something earlier when your caller called you and she asked you about taking that idea to different areas. And you mentioned to her that you have to protect your tail first. I want to say that you first have to have a blueprint. And the blueprint that is being done in the community of Fort Charlotte can now be taken to other areas. But it's a blueprint that's just being drawn. But I see the excitement in Seabreeze with Leslie Miller. Listen, I knew Leslie Miller growing up as a child, living in Garden Hills. In Garden Hills, when she lived in Garden Hills, and I met her a few times through my auntie who lived across the road from her. I would go there and we would see each other. She's the same person then that she is now. She can have a conversation with you as if she knew you and nothing's changed. Like, she hasn't changed. And the excitement I see her has, and I listen to her and the plans that she has for Seabreeze and small businesses, entrepreneurship, and those things that she has planned for for Seabreeze. I'm excited to see her work. Mind you, I pay attention to those persons who I know. And I know some people, I try to stay away from certain things because I see, I don't know. I have a god sister that runs down there in Marathon.
Which one, Lisa or Doctor?
Lisa Ramming.
Okay,
That's my god sister.
Okay, good.
Right, and I would.
Can I say if you ain't got nothing good to say?
No, she's
Okay,
my
praise
god
God.
sister.
Say something good with your god sister.
She's a nice person.
Praise God.
She's my god sister.
That's all you can say. Praise God.
But
Lisa,
again,
you got to come on. I got to get Lisa on so we can have this kind of a conversation with her and
beautiful
talk about
person.
these things.
That's my god sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about these things, guys. I want you to be a part of it. You could call me on your cell phones, call me or text me directly. You can do that, 827-0111. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's take this conversation to Grand Bahama. We've laid out some things who we've identified that should be some qualities for determination. We've laid out some things from a biblical principle that says that you got to be able to work on your good name. You got to be able to work on yourself in these areas before you step into to politics. There are some people in Grand Bahama that are stepping on the ticket, whether that be for COI, for the FNM, or the PLP, that may not necessarily be known. You understand? But are you comfortable enough with them, with their contribution to community, with their knowledge of community, knowledge of these particular, are you comfortable enough that you believe that their representation could be able to change the course of how things are happening in those particular communities? Let's look at the constituency of West Grand Bahama. Let me read this text. This is, good afternoon, Howard Grant. And guess if Lincoln Bain did give Pinewood the Fort Charlotte initiative like what Sabas doing in Fort Charlotte, then Lincoln Bain would have an opportunity to be elected other than the Pinewood going FNM. I'm watching you, and I see what you did there. You said everything you said just to drive it home to say that the Pinewood is getting to the FNM. You need to stop. I'm watching you, you know. I'm reading this, and I see there's kind of a subtle innuendo that you slide in there. They said that the Pinewood is going to the FNM. And we could talk about that, but these things don't come free. I don't know whether or not Lincoln Bain has the finances to be able to do these things, right? A lot of the initiatives that are taken is not done out of the pocket or the purse of the government in Fort Charlotte. It's not right now. Not right now. I don't believe that. I believe that there is these, like I said to you, relationships. And if you're called on, listen, Sabas has resources. He has resources. There's no two ways about that. He has resources. And the resources sometimes, you ever hear old people say this? Money go where money lie.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear them say that?
All the time.
You know what that means? There is a principle, and we don't want to get into this kind of a weird thing, but there's a principle of attraction that when you have it, it moves towards you, right? And you would have seen this. I got to be able to bring this home on this Christian radio station. These people they have to understand it from a biblical standpoint because it sounds carnal. When the master gave one talent, and he gave one 2, then he gave one 3 and one 5. Those that duplicated and multiplied, he allowed them to get more. Those that one who took it and hid it and say, "Am I good?" You throw him in jail because you didn't multiply. You couldn't find more progression and growth because you weren't the person that can be able to put this in the space of application and multiplication. This is a principle. That's just a principle. I don't think a lot of people recognize that the Word of God, and Kevin L.A. Ewing will always say this to you. You listen to him on Dove also. A great deal of the things that are happening is only principles. They govern. We are governed in this realm by principles. And once you tap into these principles, it is absolutely inevitable that you get those things that you desire. You tap into the principles. And I hate to say this to you, but when you start to read and look at these things from a spiritual standpoint, those persons who are doing Santeria and Ober and all these particular things, they have an inversion of the principles of the Word of God. These are principles that govern this realm. And so when you see these things, it's going to happen. And so that principle of money go where money lie stems back to biblical concepts and ideas that you can be able to identify. And what happens is that because you have this kind of a quote-unquote law of attraction in this kind of a space, when people start doing things for you, when you start doing things and you ask people to tap in, people mightn't even charge you. They say, "No, man, Howard, I got that straight. You still don't worry about that." But
Yeah,
it's just a principle.
I believe in, like you're saying, that it's you as a person, and persons will support you because of who you are as a person and your upbringing in certain instances. Let's just say some things leave a bad taste in my mouth, especially when it comes to, can I say the government?
Of course.
Certain things, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, especially with the F&M government. Things I expected Travis...
Former administration or current?
Former. Things I expected Mark Humes to do, he did not do. Granted, the pandemic hit at the same time, but he didn't do anything I expected he was going to do as the Minister for Charlotte. And there's a gentleman in the...
Member of Parliament.
No, this person I'm talking about.
He wasn't a minister. Mark Humes was a minister.
No, he was not. He was just a
member of Parliament.
Member of Parliament. Okay. Mm-hmm. The person who he's in the F&M government, and when I think of him sometimes, he leaves a bad taste in my mouth because...
Even the thought?
Yes, because the encounter... Let me explain to you the encounter that I had with him first, and then you'll understand how I say this man is a petty man. And he's been around for a long time, and I'm going to call his name.
No, don't call his name.
Don't call his name?
For God's sake, no.
Oh, you got saved by the bell.
But you can give me a description and we'll know who you're talking about. Go
what
ahead.
happened to me, I was working before you came to Malia or Radisson or Sheridan when you came. There was a night manager, also the assistant. He was the general manager, but he usually worked nights. And me and this gentleman happened to be going up in the elevator together. And he was looking at me from head to toe. I'm like, and he said to me, "I don't see it." Okay, I don't know what he's talking about, so I don't think it was up to me to answer. So he said it again, "I don't see it." So I said, what don't you see? He said, "I don't see what she's seeing you." Now he's getting personal because there was a lovely lady at the front desk that he wanted that happened to be with me. Now, mind you, he is the general manager. When I started working to Radisson Hotel, I was working as security. I was making $210 for 6 days a week. $210 for 6 days a week. Now, mind you, he's the manager. He's getting $600-700, and he's making this money. So what does she want with that man who's only making 200? Now she doesn't know my salary, but it's the personality of a person that some people like. And he said that to me. I want you to fast forward now a few years. I'm a bellman. And I said to myself, I'm working, but I need something else to do because I work nights. I work 12 midnight till 8 in the morning.
Hold on, Pat. I'm coming right to you. Go ahead.
I looked at the shelf boy jobs going on inside Super Value. I said, look, they only want you to do your work. I have no problem working, but I wanted something else to do because I have too much free time on my hands. So mind you, now as a bellman, I'm making just as much as he was making. I'm making at $600-700, $800. So
Bellman is make serious grats in Nassau.
I
was
making,
jealous when I was signing off these people check. I said, Jesus, $2,500 this week.
So I'm making some money now, but I still want something to do because I have time on my hands. And I say Super Value would be a nice fit for me. They only want you to do your job and you can go. So I went to Super Value headquarters down there in off Kamaica Road. What is that? The plaza?
Blue Hill.
No.
Off Blue Hill.
It's the shopping center. Super Value Shopping Center, where it is, it's in...
On Blue Hill Road.
It's on Blue Hill Road, but they call it, the shopping plaza has a name. Anyway.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I went there, and I walked upstairs to try to go to an interview to get this job. And who should I see? That same gentleman. And you know what he said to me when I came up there? He said, man, how much more money you want to make, man?
Oh, Jesus.
How much money you
I
want to
think
make?
you have a personal problem with you.
Listen.
You can't put that on the F&M.
Hey.
You can't put that on the whole F&M
But he is
for
an
this
F&M.
man.
He is an F&M.
Yeah, but what I got to do with the whole
You're
party?
known by the company you keep.
Oh, my God, Jim.
And when I see him, he was with ministers
He just
everywhere.
he don't like
and
you.
Now I see that. No, but see what it is that you think
He's just jealous.
Yeah, he was.
He's just a little bit
He
jealous.
was. So I'm jealous of him now. I'm not jealous, but I'm taking over him now.
Jesus,
you know, by the company you keep. I'm just saying, anyone I see he's affiliated with,
You didn't want nothing to
I
do
want
with
nothing to do with him. You know, by the
And so
company
the
you keep.
F&M,
They lost me by extension because of him.
because of him.
Yes.
My God. And you know what? This exists also in church, you know. This same principle exists in church. People are turned off by your ushers. They're turned off by your deacons. They're turned off by these lay ministers and others who don't know how to talk to people outside of the environment of church. And as an extension, you don't just turn these people off from church. You may be turning them off from the body of Christ. This is a lot, man. It's a good principle that we're learning today and being able to do this. Pat, call back. I got you right here. Go right here. Let me call you. Let me call Pat. Pat, I can call you back so you can be able to get on there. Hey, good afternoon, Pat. What's happening with you?
I'm good.
Everything good?
Good show. Yeah, man. Am I too late? Because I have
No. Go
time.
ahead. No, you're good.
Yeah. Good afternoon to the gentleman as well.
Good afternoon.
With Sabaz, I think he set the tone that others might follow because we've had persons, multi-millionaires, billionaires in Parliament, and they've never done what he's doing at this time. I think it's just set a new tone, and I would like to see more invested in urban renewal and in the government as far as Ministry of Works, so that others in these areas would be able to, benefit and from actions such as this. Because I've seen some areas where persons are representing, and it gives you see on the surface the illusion that, like the out west or the out east, that in these particular constituencies, which normally the FNMs are the strongholds, right? For years. But if you go under the surface and you go through some of these particular quaint areas, listen, you would cry. You would actually cry to see the living conditions of these persons. And far too long, many persons, have gotten lost, they've fallen, under the cracks. And that I would like to see that more, dealt with more. And I commend Mr. Bastian. And it's just a shame to see the vitriol, the hate that's coming his way, and it seems as if the cannon has now been turned zeroed in on him. Because let's face it and let's say it. He is a superstar.
Big time.
This young man is a
Big time.
superstar. He is that light. That's so bright. I mean, I analyze Sebastian.
I don't even know. I can say this. I can say this to you, Pat.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if it's about his money. Because money, like we talked about principles, money is only going to attract to vision. That's it. And so he is now endowed as a result of his vision and his execution. If you listen to the beginning of his story, when he never had nothing and he was trying to get something, he started off, but he kept steadfast with his vision. And
So
I
what
believe that changing everything.
that vision, and that's why I say he's now set a tone so that others may follow. Sometimes you see people, they may come, people like say, was illegal gambling and whatever back in the day. And I'm so glad the gentleman explained how his mommy or whatever, how I can tell you my Grammy, the man used to come and ask that.
Yeah, he used to come with the three-ply paper.
Mama got the piece of paper wrap up, the white paper wrap up, and she go inside and she give it, because our mothers, we wasn't into that. My auntie wasn't into that, so she used to sneak the paper to daddy, and he would go. So I just go way back, and people are trying to use this against him. Although he's a legitimate business man, right? But there's, sharing a negative. So I'm glad to see that through his vision, he is able to enable others, and even before this election thing, empowering others with all of these different programs that he has, done. But what I really want to say is last night at the rally, there was one person who was supposed to be the superstar of that party, the bright light that came from
Canada,
the United States, the Hollywood star. And when I saw him on that, and I listened to him, and I listened to him carefully, the way he used those words, calling persons hogs and pigs, and saying that the hog, what do you do with hogs?
No, he said hogs is get slaughtered.
Right.
Pig is get fatter.
Right. So why, and then he used the word about, but what do you do with bullies?
Punch him in the mouth.
What I don't want
I watched the whole thing. I'm watching this. Punch him in the mouth.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Violence. Listen, Mr. Ingram would get on that stage, and Mr. Ingram used to throw his shots.
Never violent.
Mr. Christie, everybody throw they use the little petty words, they use the little, jokey words. Someone may hit hard, right? But why the violence in this day, in this time? Yes. Why did you come all the way from Hollywood? And your performance last night was horrible, sir. You understand? And it goes to show how out of touch this gentleman. But he is so out of touch with our politics and our way of doing things in this country. It showed last night. It was on full blast, and he did that to himself. So when you don't try to what he was trying to do is what the word is when you try to rile up people.
Incite
violence. You understand? You don't do it. Please don't do that. We're going to have our fun. We're going to have our victory. We're going to go there and fight. Let's fight the issues. Let's fight about your vision. Let's fight about the plans that you have. Please, I don't know I don't remember him saying anything else what his plans were in God knows. Now, I could be
correct if I'm wrong. He said punched him in the mouth. That's a plan.
And wrapped the red ribbon around the lamppost.
He wrapped every lamppost in Gardale is wrapped. You would think that was cold last night.
After BPL said, don't do it, they still were out there up to let's say, before the rally, wrapping those posts red.
Wrap everyone.
Listen, I am a woman. I'm a senior now, right? Proud to be here. And I've seen elections. I've seen campaigns. I've participated in them. This is the first time that I've actually seen that I can remember. I see gentlemen can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't like when he got up there and what he said. I was most disappointed in what he said. He tried to be more Trumpian, this Trump style. with this violence and, slap them or whatever. So I guess, no, we don't need that. No, next, no, now you know better. Please do better. That's all I want to say in
Yeah.
reference to this camping. Let's continue to be peaceful. Let's have our fun. Let's go and do what we have to do what we do as far as throwing your jazz and, doing that part of it. But let's keep it real. No, not that violence. Need that violence. Wherever you brought it from, go pack it up and come back out and put on the other performance.
Wow.
Whoever your acting coach is, let it go back to the drawing board. But you all continue to stay safe.
Thank you, Pat. It's great to hear from you. Okay, I see you later. Guys, you can give me a call, 827-0111, 827-0111. I saw a telephone call coming through. If you're listening in, you could call back if you wish. If not, I'll wait to hear from you when you give me a call. All right, let's see. Peter said, Howard, you don't read my texts. Use a PLP. That's what Peter tells me, right? There's a PLP say, you only let the PLPs call your show, Howard.
Butler?
You don't read my text. No, Peter ain't a butler, right? All right. So he says, Garth is a PLP too. Let me tell you what he want me to read. I'm going to read it. F and M, F and M, F and M. Fire, fire, fire. When you having Pentat on your show or Minister or Prime Minister Davis, right? I said you time, and I read it. I said that earlier. I said that.
Speaking of minutes, I see minutes. I see our former Prime Minister on a regular. Can I sometimes buck him in Starbucks? And I see his little short videos. I'm like, where was this relatability when you was Prime Minister?
He didn't have that.
He didn't.
He didn't have none of that.
He was not relatable. He was a bully.
Listen
that
to
was
me.
the bully.
Listen. I love Minnis, and my mommy going on national television and tell people how much she loved Minnis so bad. She said, I love Minnis, and Minnis helped me out, and which is true. Minnis has always been good. I was supposed to be able to get a nomination under him, but it didn't work out the way it's supposed to work out. I thought it would have worked out, but, God had it so set so. Yeah, praise Jesus. You know what I'm saying? God had it set in a particular manner. So, Minnis and I have a good relationship. I respect him, and I really adore him for what he's done in terms of being able to stand strong against the wiles of the political enemy, which was, in his time, Hubert Ingram, being able to stand up and speak for what he believes in and what his expectations are in his capacity as leader. So I respect and appreciate Minnis for taking on this kind of a posture in this position. But I'm going to be very clear with you. When Travis Robinson and Reese Chipman and Mark O'Pine and Vaughn Miller and the others who were a part of the Free National Movement voted against VAT, and they found themselves ousted, they found themselves on the outskirts, they found themselves in turmoil in the organization, then I understood party politics has nothing, or the idea of being able to be right and moving in the path of righteousness for what, to give good representation for your people had nothing to do with anything once the whip was on. Now, let's be very clear. My mother in the House of Assembly was the assistant whip. Now, what a whip is that there is an agenda that the party has, especially if they have the kind of numbers that could be able to shift. If the party wants to be able to get a particular thing pushed through their legislative agenda and they say the whip is on, that means that everyone has to fall in line with whatever the party say that we can do.
Yes.
Okay? When it came to VAT and the increase of VAT by 60%, from 7.5% to 12%, the whip was on. So Travis Robertson get whipped. Vaughn Miller, the late Vaughn Miller, he got whipped. Mark O'Pine got whipped. Reese Chipman got whipped. Now, there were other people who disagreed with it, but they took the course of the party and they got that social backlash. A lot of them ain't win no more as a result of it. Yeah. You understand? But when the whip is on, that's the thing. Minutes come out and start to talk about the whip. Minutes come out and start to be able to reject this sort of an idea to say that you could stand firm and make these kind of determination. And he, in his capacity as leader of the organization, turned the whip on. He turned the whip on.
I remember the first whipping that person got was Travis Robinson.
Travis had to grovel back on his feet.
Under the Westminster system, there's only one voice. And the voice is that of the leader. him walking through Baintown to try to gain the support of the people to go against the party or to go against the VAT. I blame that to him being young and naive, not knowing what was going to happen to him, and somebody should have educated him before he did what he did. Keep in mind, he was the youngest elected member of parliament at the time. He didn't know any better. Now, did he have someone looking after him, that fairy godfather, or that person who could have said, look, this isn't the way you should go? Somebody to give him advice. I don't think he did. So what he did went against the party. He could not win, and Minutes took that whip out quick, and he got whipped. Along with others.
Because he didn't understand comply and complain. You had to comply
Then complain.
and then complain later.
Yes.
He didn't comply. He complained.
Yes.
And so if you invert this sort of a makeup of how things happen, the whip cuts on, and the whip, boom, you got to get taken out.
Yep.
And so that's what that happened. But now Minutes is taking on this kind of a course to talk about independence, to talk about a sort of an idea that you could have a voice and so forth and so on. This voice never existed. I don't expect it to exist now. Let's just be very clear. Let's be very clear. I'm not saying that you should go against the tenets of your organization. I'm saying to you, there was no grace extended for a man who now is saying to us he believes in these independent tenets. He, in his older age and his capacity, would have carried these convictions with him all this time. And all of a sudden now we could hear him say, I believe you should take on this kind of position. Minutes, we don't know what to believe. What you saying?
No.
Are you saying this to me because you won't get elected in?
Yeah.
Are you saying that to me now? Because you didn't show me this during that particular time and period. You didn't show this to me.
When you were there to make, you could
You
have made a difference.
fired the youngest man. Listen, Travis weighed 12 and a half pounds when he was wet. All his clothes was loose on him. You're going looking for Travis at the college of the Bahamas where he was trying to get his degree. You bring him in politics to fire him? Why you do Travis like that?
Leave him where he was.
No, you can't even call Travis Travis. You got to call him Captain.
Captain Travis. Captain Travis.
Captain Travis.
Get it right.
You understand? But that can only happen for him because someone lay down with him, lay down the law with him and say to him, Travis, you got to take these steps, brother. If you want something from a political standpoint, if you want your tenure, you want your things like that, you want life in these political parties, these are the steps you're going to have to take. Now we see Travis understand how to comply.
Yes. Yes.
Travis has learned to comply.
Yes.
You understand? But in his raw, zealous nature with passion and determination, he was fired. Minnie should have never fired him.
And
Not
Travis
like that.
still has
But
that
Travis
tendency.
got his job back.
Yeah.
Got his job back. And boom, reintroduction to the three mates. Praise God. You can get these things back. But it is important to have to be able to comply. I don't know whether or not I'm willing to give up the conviction of people who don't have the proxy, because I represent 6,000 people in the constituency. I represent 5,500 people in the constituency. After it's said and done and I am the leader or identified as the representative for this constituency, I represent the body of the constituents in this constituency. And because I have proximity to the Prime Minister, I could be able to get these favors, so forth and so on. I don't know whether or not Howard Grant is willing to forget the notion of the people who are living at the lower class or beneath the poverty line in our country just so I could be comfortable as an individual. I can't sleep at night. I can't sleep at night knowing that I could have made a right decision to stand in conviction to do the right thing for these particular people. Let's get it clear. Let's get it clear. Shannon Cartwright, in his capacity as Member of Parliament in St. Barnabas, was not supposed to win. The constituency was designed for Cheryl Bozard. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The constituency was designed strategically and specifically for Cheryl Bozard. I know this. And Cheryl Bozard did not have that kind of a likability in this kind of an area, right? This is what was said, the relatability in these areas, right? She didn't, I believe it's just, if she gave it a little bit more effort, she could have gotten it, right? She did not get it, okay? Shannon won. But beyond Shannon winning, they gave him a second opportunity. Why? Why?
Relatable.
Because he not only relatable, his relatability, his access, and giving them opportunity. He break bread with them. If Shannon Owen had gone back as an independent, they would have still voted him in. He break bread. They knew. We knew. The country knew. In 2021, the FNM was not going to win. The country knew that. The PLP knew that.
Yes, yeah.
When Prime Minister Minnis called a snap election, the next day the whole city was gold.
Yeah.
The next morning, you hear me? All we saw was, you thought it was ketchup and mustard, ketchup and mustard, ketchup and mustard everywhere. And that's it. So we knew that the PLP would have won the next general election. And the constituents in St. Barnabas knew that. And they still didn't give Michael Halkitis the play. Not that time. They were loyal to the concept of who stayed loyal to them. Travis could have still been there.
Yeah.
I believe Bain Town would have still given him an opportunity if he had remained committed to them. But he, Grammy say, turn catgut on them. He switch up on them. And because of that, he know he couldn't go back to that constituency.
No, I believe that fully, but I do believe that sometimes you have to know your value. And when you don't know your value, you tend to get mixed up with certain things. I think Travis, being as young as he was, he didn't realize that certain conversations and certain arguments you should not be having with certain people. Know who you are, even though they may be older than you. They may think that they're more accomplished than you or have more influence than you. It's not your place to have conversation with people and arguments with people who are not on your level. And that's what he did. Because I saw one or two videos going back and forth with him and some people from Baintown, especially G-Money. I'm like, there's levels to this.
Why does he respond?
That's my point.
Why would you respond to any of this?
You and Gavin are not on that same level, aka G-Money. Listen, to me, G-Money likes social media, and he goes on social media to sing for his support. That's just who he is. And the conversations that he have sometimes on social media, and I listen. And I reached out to him one time, and he was, oh, Travis, this. I say, bro, certain conversations as a man you should not be having on social media. You have to ease up. And all he says is, this is me. I have a political degree in political science. I say, I don't care about your degree. That doesn't mean that you're right, my brother. You got to ease up and watch what you say. And when Travis got involved with that type argument, you put yourself down to that level.
Yeah.
And you were on a different level. You have to know who you are. And when you don't know who you are, you fall for anything.
I agree with you.
And that's what happened.
I agree with you, Maurice. Let's take a next commercial break. When we get back, we can dive into a little bit more of these things. Guys, if you want to be a part of what we're doing, hit me up right there, 827-0111. You can get me directly, 827-0111. We're going to read some texts and get past these particular things. I'm sitting here with none other than James McKenzie, talking to us about Fort Charlotte, but really being able to give us a synopsis of what we're seeing from the political standpoint. Quick break, guys. Going to be right back after this. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Foundation on Foundation 242 all over social media. 103.7 in Grand Bahama on Dove. 103.7 being in with the Jam with you. Grateful to be here with you. Always grateful to Jam. As we continue to be able to do this in the last few minutes before the show is over, I'm here talking with James McKenzie right here in Nassau, a resident of Fort Charlotte, really being able to talk about growth and development throughout the community and really able to talk today. I think this is a synopsis. The synopsis is that Fort Charlotte is in for a shaking, a change of significant growth and development. Some things can happen, and we're seeing some things happen. But I believe that this electoral period, and I don't want to be a proponent for one or the other, but there is an idea for change, growth, and development. And if you are a candidate, F&M or PLP, and you're not introducing those concepts, I don't think that there's an opportunity for you.
No.
Nobody into that.
No. Vision.
Nobody got time for that.
Gotta have vision.
You need to have vision. And you know what? The PLP was strategic in their approach of being able to ensure that every billboard with the representative has the prime minister behind it. I thought that was a good move. Let me tell you why. Now, it wasn't a good move in 2017. No, let's do this. In 2012, Hubert Ingram ran again. Okay? 2012, Hubert Ingram ran, okay, for the Free National Movement. Every poll, and I go from 8 Mile Rock, I was in 8 Mile Rock, every poll in the constituency of 8 Mile Rock, one poll would have the candidate, the next poll would have Hubert Ingram. One poll would have the candidate, the next poll would have Hubert Ingram, right? I said, who are we voting for? Hubert Ingram? And it was not good. Hubert Ingram never paired himself with the candidate. It was always separate. So whatever favor I had, give this favor to the candidate in your constituency because I'm here also. That's not what I'm seeing happen with Brave. The strategic placement from this graphic and being able to identify that, and one of these days I can get into how bad the PLP is. They bad when it comes to campaigning. They bad. You understand? Because they're just playing psychological games when they do these things. Do we believe in Bahamians when they won? That was a crazy camp. I told you about this. That was a crazy campaign. You walk outside, you see your cousin with the cracked teeth smiling on the thing. You say, Jesus, what Walter doing on this thing? What Walter doing on this thing? What Walter? Big smile. We believe in Bahamians. The PLP bad when it comes to campaigning. They're hard at doing that. And what I'm seeing now is another approach to the exact same thing. With the Prime Minister standing behind the candidate, it shows subconsciously a level of support that he's backing this particular candidate. And this candidate, this Prime Minister, unlike the last two Prime Ministers that we've had, has not lost momentum over the course of his political tenure. By now, by 2018, Minnis came in 2017. By 2018, the beginning of 2019, we knew Minnis got to go. Mm-hmm. This is before the pandemic. This was just before the hurricanes. We knew in the country, the conversation already didn't start to happen when Minnis was telling people, you don't understand it, NPO. And we said, NPO? Did he drop the E?
1, 2, 3, ABC.
We knew at this point, Minnis had to go.
Arrogant.
Okay? And so everything else was just proverbial gravy. We just knew, see why we have to go to him. So it was already a sentiment that Minnis has to go. We knew that Prime Minister Christie had to go in 2017. We knew he had to go. There's some good MPs that were lost in this bunch. Good MPs, good representatives. But they, straight up, the people tell them, look, if I vote for you, I'm voting for Christie, and Christie got to go. Sorry, Bala, but you got to try and come back some kind of other how. And they voted Christie out, including Centerville. Okay?
Was it 4 or 7 votes?
4.
4 votes.
Therese Chipman, right? Mm-hmm. Now, let's be clear about this now. We have not seen that with this prime minister. We're not hearing a general sentiment that brave got to go, brave got to go. We're not hearing that kind of a thing with these things. The representation in West End the other night for the amount of people that descended upon West End almost sink the place in that hard breeze. Dr. Pratt, her whole weave, that nice hair flowing down, almost capture her. You lucky, baby, if you'd have had a little veil on, you would have get fly off that stage. Because it was so windy and so much people showed up. It was an amazing thing. And being from Grand Bahama, I looking at the faces. I know these people. I said, oh, Jesus, look at Boo Boo. On the back of the truck, I see from Seagrape people. I see these people in a long time. But they're here and they're representing. And I looked at that and I said, this prime minister hasn't lost that momentum and that likability. And so it was a good move to pair him behind the candidate. So that's a subconscious thing that's happening in those areas. But we can continue to talk about these things, my brother. You got to come back with me now. When you can come back?
First chance I get, I'll give you, a bit busy right now. Things are winding down right now. So
everybody busy
sometime
now.
At the beginning of the next month, all kind of time then.
Well, that's
This
excellent.
month, yeah.
That's excellent. Guys, I want to thank you all so very kindly for being able to be here and kind of tuning in with us to have this conversation, to talk about where we are from a national standpoint and to talk about where we would like to go and like to be from that standpoint also. I'm looking at this here and let me see if I can see something. Oh, somebody sent me something else. That's a personal thing. Right? What's that? Go ahead.
I just want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I spoke about some things that were happening in Fort Charlotte, but what I didn't mention is some things that were mentioned that is about to come in Fort Charlotte, because
Let me hear it.
like the lady talked about, the blueprint for ministers and the blueprint for certain areas now is going to be written by Fort Charlotte. I've heard about the same lunch program that's going on right now. They also have them in the schools, but I heard a Ricardo Williams spoke about it some time ago with how he was involved. Ricardo Williams also owns the restaurant over Fish Fry, Drifters. I heard him speak about how he's involved in that. And the person he is, if he's involved in something, it's something positive and it's going to do.
He has always been that kind of a guy.
Ricardo, I don't know. That's just him. So again,
because he brought some food for me when I was feeding some people also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, and I don't know you know him, so it just shows by association what's happening. I'm hearing about initiatives where houses that are condemned are being purchased and now refurbished for persons in the community. I'm hearing about entrepreneurship. I'm hearing about small business loans that are going to be issued to persons in the community. Things that are like, it kind of gets me excited to see what's going to happen in the community. And like I said, the blueprint that's going to be drawn now, no more ham and turkey. You're not going to come to my house with your ham and turkey and think you're going to get my vote right now. Some things have to be done. So, again, I'm just excited to see what's happening in the Fort Charlotte right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show today. I want to thank you so very kindly for tuning in with us again. Like I said to you, it has been a wonderful thing. We're going to see you tomorrow, God's Spirit Our Lives, right here on The Foundation. Have a beautiful day. Grateful to be with you. Make sure you check in, like, and share Foundation242.com, Foundation242.com, or check me out, Foundation242, all over the social medias, whether that's the TikTok or the WhatsApp or the... not the WhatsApp, TikTok or the Facebook or the Instagram. You can be able to check me out, Foundation242. Hit me up, 827-0111 if you want to be a part of our WhatsApp group. And we're going to be here jamming with you on a continuous basis. I am Howard Grant. It is wonderful, wonderful that you're here jamming Grand Bahama. Hope you guys are good out there. 103.7 FM Dove Radio. We're going to see you. Let me see you. All right.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahama land to the foundation.